Hey guys, so what we're going to do here first is go through some pre-recorded footage of me going through the Chalice dungeons. I went and cut out the layers just to get to the bosses there, but I showed some of the blood gems that I had farmed. They weren't very great. I think both of them did have attack down, so you could spend some time farming for better ones, but honestly, it's far more worth your time to just clear out a few of these bosses and then, get around to actually just getting better ones on tougher layers. So this is the second layer boss, and it's three of these guys here. Now they generally don't have a lot of health, and you can parry these guys quite alright, but basically the guy with the gun can't hit shit at all. It's pretty bad. That guy has a knockback. I didn't actually know that, but yeah, generally if you take these guys one at a time, it's not really a big concern, although that guy does have a decent amount of range. But yeah, you can visceral attack them. I almost got shot in the point blank range. The funny thing is, the guy with the gun, I think it's the chieftain, he misses from like point blank range, as you'll see. So these guys are kind of uninspired and honestly not very exciting. We will meet them later on, and they will be more annoying then, just on the account that they'll have more health and such, but they pretty much play out the fight the same. Unfortunately, I have to switch to this other guy here because he is in front. But yeah, you just gotta take down three of them in a row. So we're going to be getting better blood gems from the next boss. The next boss will actually drop a fire blood gem, a radial. So we're gonna have that to look forward to at least. But even beyond that, going to the next Chalice dungeon after this will get you some pretty good blood gems that you can use. So, and these guys can drop a physical gem, I believe, a physical radial. In that case, it dropped the thrust gem, which isn't very useful. But yeah, here I am just showing the blood gems that I have so far. They're not that great yet. Okay, so next one here is the Watchdog of the Old Lords. So one thing to do before this fight is take the fire gems out of your weapon and replace them with physical gems, because he's pretty much almost immune to fire, and you'll see a very easy strategy for dealing with him is just to extend the saw spear or saw cleaver and just bait out his swipe attacks and then just hit him with the extended saw cleaver. I do miss a couple times, but eventually you'll break the head part here, and you'll do a lot more damage after that point. So you can try and fight him, like roll past him and hit his legs, and he will stagger if you do that. But honestly, it seems much easier if you just do this. And once this does happen, you can get a lot of damage on him immediately. But yeah, make sure you're not doing this fight with the fire weapon, because it's one of the only enemies really that is almost completely immune to fire. You'll do very little damage. But yeah, that's pretty much the strategy I take. It's kind of boring to bait out his attacks like that, but it's fairly safe. Now he does have this explosion attack, but once again, just back off. And what beating this guy will give us a radial blood gem, one without a curse as well. I believe it's the one I get is maybe about 10%. I can't recall exactly. And access to the second Chalice dungeon, which I'm just going to rush the three layers and three bosses on there as well. And then I'll have access to some pretty great fire radials by this point in the game. Probably earlier than you should be intended to have them, but yeah. So I don't know how I actually avoided getting hit there, but there you go. Not a very difficult fight. Once again, this is a boss that we will see later, but he drops a fire blood gemstone, and as you can see, the physical blood gems I have there, nothing special. I also got a fire waning when I was farming originally for the fire gemstones, which is kind of a rare find. But the one that was just dropped here, yeah, it's pretty decent for now. So this is the next Chalice dungeon, Layer 1, and the boss here is going to be Beast Possessed Soul, which is kind of the guy that we killed at the bottom of the Healing Church workshop, but he died so quickly that we didn't really get to see him. But this guy does use ranged attacks occasionally, with those fireballs like we saw. But basically he's a fairly easy beast boss. He does have this long combo, and he doesn't stagger very well while you're in it, but as you can see he doesn't have a lot of HP, and if you do have a fire serrated weapon you'll be doing a lot of damage. You can also backstab him like this. So yeah, not a very difficult fight. He is pretty much, if I did actually wait to see that guy, what that guy at the bottom of the Healing Church workshop would do, he does fight similarly, and he will use fireballs if you do give him enough time to. And that's pretty much it for this guy. Next we're going to be able to see on the next layer where you can get some better blood gems if you want to farm them for fire radials. And also here's another physical blood gem which might be handy to keep a hold of. Okay, so from the second layer after you beat Beast Possessed Soul, it's in the left room as soon as you enter the layer again. These two guys will drop down. There's also a Merciless Watcher in the middle of this room, but if these guys will drop better fire radials, but honestly I would recommend just waiting until the next Chalice dungeon, because you only got to kill 2 more bosses and then you'll get better ones anyway, so I would just honestly not farm this spot. Alright, so layer 2. This is kind of a difficult fight because they can easily kill you if you do have low vitality, but it is a pretty cool fight. The other thing is you can very easily stun lock her into pretty much getting a full combo off, depending on what sort of move she does. So she doesn't have that much health, but it can be a little difficult after she does buff at certain HP thresholds, and then she'll start doing sort of more ranged attacks that can catch you, and they do quite a bit of damage, just like I said, especially if you have low vitality. I have a decent amount at this point because one of the benefits of the Chalice dungeons is you get quite a lot of blood echoes, especially if you do them early on. Like you saw she just caught me there and it did about a quarter of my health, so it's, I mean, every hit here. But overall she's not too difficult. You can pretty easily just interrupt her moves as I just did there, and back off and just wait till your stamina comes back. I'm a bit greedy here, but I just go in and finish her off here. Not quite yet. So yeah, not very difficult. Just one more boss to go, and then we'll be on the Lower Pthumeru Chalice, which will allow us to get up to 16.5% fire radials, which is extremely good by this point. Alright, so last boss on this Chalice dungeon. This guy is probably the most difficult so far. He's relatively annoying. When he gets about 50% health, he'll unchain the sickle that he's using, and you really don't want to allow him to do that unless... Well, you can get a backstab on him while he's doing this, and that's generally the most important. He tends to do combos, and I tend to dodge to his left and then just get a few hits in. He's pretty fast as well, and he does have some ranged attacks where he throws the sickle at you. So generally I keep getting caught because his combos are pretty fast. But as you can see, he's powering up here and you can backstab him here. Now one of the things I didn't realise at the time is he'd never actually progressed to unchaining his sickles, so he actually tries to do it again here and I wasn't ready for it. So I try to catch him with a charged attack, and I do catch him, but I don't get the backstab. And after that, as long as you make sure that you backstab him in the second phase, he'll have a lot less health because he is a lot more annoying in that stage. So one of the things he drops is he should drop an arcane scaling radial, that cold damp gem, which honestly isn't very good for you right now because the arcane scaling it gives you is not going to be good enough by this point. So now we're going to show you pretty much where to get very good fire radials at this point. You don't even need to beat the first layer or anything like that, even get to the lever. All you need to do is just go to the bonus area even before the layer, and just farm some of the flaming weapon enemies there. Now I am going to get quite a lot of blood echoes from this, so I think by the end of the farming that I do, I get about enough to get to about 30 arcane and 30 vitality, which 30 vitality is probably what I'm going to stick for a while, unless I have spare points. So you can see I'm kind of approaching it now. Unfortunately their drop rate isn't fantastic, but it's a relatively short run. So here I am just making this chalice here. So this is depth 3, so it is a lot. Enemies will have more health, they'll do more damage. You can die quite easily to the enemies even farming this, to be honest. But I'm going to quickly show you the path, and especially because there is an illusionary wall in this layer, right beside where we're going to farm them actually. So that's one of the things, is there is actually illusionary walls in some of the chalice dungeons, but they're pretty rare, so they're not really a common occurrence. So Lower Pthumeru Labyrinth, Layer 1. You just want to take the bonus room on the right here. And it is kind of a bit of a run to the area you need to get to, so farming it isn't exactly the fastest thing ever. But you can get some pretty decent gems just from farming them for a bit. Now the one with probably the best curse to get is the increased stamina cost curse, because it's really not that significant. So as you can see, these spiders have like 500 HP. There's also a snatcher here who can drop ritual blood 4, I believe, which is pretty useful to farm, so you don't need to later. Another good curse for a fire weapon is the attack versus kin down, and the other curses like durability down you can kind of manage, but it's kind of annoying because your weapon can potentially break, and stuff like just attack down or HP gradually decreasing is obviously not good at all, and you probably want to get another gem. It's just not manageable really. So all you want to do is come to the middle of the room here, and these two guys will drop down, and they do have quite a bit of health, so you might have to back off and just like, I think I almost died to them actually this first time around. Just because they do a lot of damage and they can kind of like combo you. As you can see, that was 2 quick attacks right there. You just farm these guys. Now with higher arcane you will have a higher chance for these guys to drop something, but the illusionary wall's right here, and it's actually just a quicker way back to the lantern. Now what I am going to do is I am going to go and kill the Cleric beast, just because it's quicker if you just bolt hunter's mark instead of like running all the way back to the lantern to come back and like, you know, run all the way back there. So one thing we're going to do is have to kill the Cleric beast so we can buy bolt hunter's marks at the store in the hunter's room. So we're just going to go ahead and pretty much annihilate him. So here I am outside the Cleric beast boss fight, and it's going to be relatively simple. It's going to be over very fast. That's kind of the fun thing about coming back to do him later on, is you just absolutely obliterate him. I think I stagger him on like every second hit basically. So as you can see, I'm just going to kill him in one combo, but it's pretty fun to watch. You can do it with the flame sprayer as well if you wait. But yeah, there you go, first boss of the game, not too difficult. Yeah, fire weapon does wreck him obviously, and the serration helps as well. Figured I would put in footage of the flame sprayer character as well on the Cleric beast. So this is with a flame sprayer +6 with bone marrow ash and an oil urn. Really, it's not much different from doing it with a fire weapon, but it is fun to use the flame sprayer. So I figured I'd put some footage of this in. So I just walk around and basically just tap down until I can take another bone marrow ash, and I think I just take 2 of them. Yeah, he's just absolutely destroyed. Hey guys, so we're back after a decent amount of the Chalice dungeons there. So I got some pretty good gems The first one does have a curse attack against the kin down, which is not really that big a deal since it's mostly a fire weapon used for beasts. And the second one probably has the best curse you can get, which is increases stamina costs. But generally, the percentage that you get for them is so low that it really doesn't matter at all. I also managed to get out of shape gem, which is pretty rare. So I did get a winning gem. Not that I really think it's worth it anyway. The one I have is like 8%, but it does have HP recovery as well, so it's like almost no change between them. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a few items that I missed because I just I took the other route down in the Healing Church workshop. You'll see I'll be doing a pretty good amount of damage right now. I am pretty high level for this point. I'm level 48 because going through the Chalice dungeons does get you a lot of blood echoes. So it's pretty high level for Amelia really. But I will be going in to start the DLC shortly after that, hopefully. So I hate this drop here. So usually that was really almost fell there. Okay, that's good. So all that's here is a messenger top hat, and it does have a few annoying jumps. And this is the other item here, which should just be a Madman's Knowledge. Now there is a way you can drop down to the bottom here, but I'm just gonna Bolt Hunter's Mark out. Just because gravity could potentially kill me, so yeah, let's try and not do that. So yeah, we're going to go through Cathedral Ward. It shouldn't be too much work. I'm going to leave a few items over where I collected some of the twin bloodstone shards from those wandering nightmares before. I'll leave that till later, because there's a few hunters there, like we've seen before. And I'm also going to do Eileen's quest. She actually showed up now. Oh. So I didn't actually open all the gates, I think. But it looks like she's already here. Okay. Well, oh, okay. I see how it is. You can see we're just doing a lot of damage. Yeah, my attack rating is like 270 almost. So I do have 30 vitality and 32 arcane. So if you do the Chalice dungeons, if you are confident in doing them, you can get a lot of levels early, which will really help you out. Vitality, you can get away with leaving Vitality at like 10 and just pumping Arcane, but I find Vitality is going to be a lot better for the DLC, personally. So we're going to do this part of Eileen's quest, and that involves returning here. And there will be an enemy somewhere around here. There he is. So he does have a repeating pistol, I think, that does do a lot of damage. Oh god. He does a lot of damage in general, really. Okay. He's just going to shoot. So Eileen will help you out here, and it's honestly better just to wait until she comes before you do any significant damage. Basically, he does visceral quite a lot, but you can easily get behind him and do the same. And she's gonna go ahead and kill him then. You will be able to get his armor set after as well, and the hair rune. Ear rune. More blood echoes for visceral attacks. Oh, you running away? I thought she just disappeared there for a second. Okay, so she's gonna give me a gesture, but I think that's it. So that will continue our quest line for now, so really I may as well do it now, because if you go too far, I think the quest line just ends and you won't be able to get one of the last runes you can put in. So there's 4 slots for runes. We haven't got the tool that allows us to slot them in yet, like for Foremost Odin, etc. And the last one is taken up by a so-called Covenant rune, although it's really not a Covenant. But when we get there, I'll talk about it. So, Cathedral Ward. So there's a bagger over there, but I already got the items here. And I picked up the items here as well. Okay, so we're just gonna basically just rush through Cathedral Ward, try and get as many of the items that I'm missing. So I don't think I opened all the gates. I was under the impression that you actually had to open all 3 of the gates in this area before Eileen showed up at that area. So there's an enemy with a gun over here. This guy has a repeating pistol at the least. Okay, there's a giant there. Oh, that one shot him. Yeah, you can see that we're doing a lot of damage now that I got those blood gems. And to wolves and stuff, I think fire is their lowest defenses, so you can see I'm doing 300 damage on 1 R1, which is pretty impressive. Now, the one thing is, I think the giants are actually weaker to physical damage than elemental damage of any type, but charged R2s still do a lot of damage to them, so it doesn't really matter. Good old Arcane. What you could do is you could carry around a physical weapon for a few bosses, because having to go and remove the blood gems is kind of annoying. So if you did want to use a physical weapon, the Hunter Axe might not actually be a bad option. But generally, there's very few instances where you really need to use a physical damage weapon. The one that we had already done was the Watchdog of the Old Lords, which is pretty much almost fire immune, so... yeah. But right now he's not that tough. He will appear later, but we will actually be more well equipped to deal with him then. So I'm just going to kill these enemies just because they're not too difficult. They would have been a pain earlier, but now that we've got very good damage, they're not really a big issue. So I didn't open the gate over here. So I was under the impression that I did need to open this gate before Eileen's quest progressed, but maybe I'm wrong with that, I guess. So we're just going to hit this. This is at the top of one of the first areas I went to, where there was a giant at the bottom here, but I closed that gate because we didn't really need it to be open after I killed and went through that area. So I think I got all the Madman's knowledge here. There's about 5 or 6 items just lying around. Over here is where we killed the brain sucker previously. Now you'll see that we'll just kill him in 1 hit because we do have a fire weapon instead of having to use Molotovs. Now I am going to have to go back this way to get to the Forbidden Woods later on, but I'm just going to grab the items here for now that I can get to. So there's a gemstone here, which is a physical one I don't really need, an antidote, and that's the way to the Forbidden Woods. So now we're going to go to Lower, I don't know if it's called Lower Cathedral Ward, just the lower section where there's a couple of NPCs that you can bring across, and that's quite a lot of bloodstains. I imagine most of them die to the brain sucker because he can do a lot of damage if you do try and fight him 1v1 basically. So there's a guy with a flame sprayer here, but he doesn't have very good tracking, it seems. Fucking bird. So doing chalice dungeons early can actually be really beneficial because these first few areas are not really that difficult after you get quite a few levels. I could have done this before, it wouldn't be too difficult really, but yeah. So first off we have 2 NPCs here. First one is Ariana here. She's going to be important, so I'm going to send her to Odin Chapel, and the other guy on the other side is going to be a guy who goes to the opposite of what you tell him. So I don't think he really does much apart from that, and he's not really important anyway. But we're going to have to tell him to go to the clinic, so he ends up going to the chapel anyway. Okay, he talks a lot, so clinic. How he knows to get to the chapel, I don't know, because, you know, I thought that was part of telling them, but whatever. So around here should be the Black Church set, Yes, should be here. Yep. So this is the other set. I forgot to talk to Adele as well. I'll need to. Ow. I'll need to go back to Cathedral Ward to talk to her. Yeah, this guy can be really annoying. Ow. He does a lot of damage. And he's got a weird weapon. Poison knives. That seemed like a lot of poison knives. There's quite a few enemies up this way. Take out the sniper here. Oh, you got a cheap shot in. Okay. I don't think there's anything else in this area. Gold blood. Blood vials. So yeah, we're going to do this area. I haven't done the rest of the Yarho Ghoul part that we can do right now. So I'll leave that for now. But we'll go back to Cathedral Ward, then we'll basically head to the boss, because there isn't really too much more to do here. And after that, we can go to the DLC, we can get a few hunter tools. I'll need to kill another boss to get the rune workshop stuff, and to get to go to another side area, and then we can start getting some chunks to get our weapon to +9, which is really good. You can actually get to +9 just from the first DLC area, and if you get every other chunk that you can get up to this point, after you kill Amelia. So I'm probably going to do that. One of them is kind of annoying to get, it's kind of into the Forbidden Woods, but we can still do it. So that should be everything here.